rock that beat.
So hopefully by the time you see this video, it'll be on the day of my birthday, which is on March 8th. And I don't usually really like to talk about my birthday, to be honest, just because it's just something I don't really have fond memories of, and etc. etc. But today I wanted to talk about something that I am very passionate about, and very, that's something that's just very important to me as a fan of, video games in general. And one of the things being that, got me to being who I am today. And it's the Final Fantasy VII remake. I made a video talking about the demo that came out a couple days ago, and I was praising it, and I was even more excited for the game than I already was. And I'm very excited for the remake. I know that the devs at Square Enix, the team that's working on the game, they're doing everything in their power to make this game amazing in just whatever capacity they're able to do. Just playing the demo, and a relatively old demo compared to what's available right now that some people have already played before, like a couple weeks ago, uh, it showed a lot of care. It showed a lot of promise that the remake was going to do a lot of new things, but also keep to what made the original game so special. And I didn't play the original when I was younger. It came out in the late 90s on the PlayStation 1, and I didn't really have a PlayStation 1 growing up as a kid. I had a PlayStation 2, I had a PS2, but I never had a PlayStation 1. I never played the original Final Fantasy 7. Years later in my life, after they were able to port the game onto the PlayStation 4, I finally played it for the first time. And I, on the console version, the PlayStation 4 version, and I think on the Switch version, you're able to speed up the game. You're able to, basically never be able to encounter enemies, and you're also able to essentially never be able to die, never be able to run out of MP. Excuse me, and never be able to run out of your limit bar. You're always able to use your limit bar no matter what you do. And that's how I played the original, my first original playthrough. I don't know why, I just didn't really care all too much, and I just wanted to, experience the game that people had said it was a classic. And, I thought it was great, but it didn't hit me, and it didn't stick with me until I finally did another playthrough where I actually didn't play that way, where I wasn't being lazy about it. I was actually, leveling up my materia. I was getting my limit bar the way that you're supposed to do it. And I was experiencing the game like how the devs wanted me to experience the game. And it was only then until I realized what made Final Fantasy VII important to me, and probably important to a lot of people. And it's just for the simple fact that this is probably the first Final Fantasy game that a lot of people played. It wasn't really my first Final Fantasy game, but it was one that I really got deep into. I played Final Fantasy 15 in years prior. I watched my dad play Final Fantasy 10, but other than that, I didn't really play a Final Fantasy game, and really got to want to know more about the lore, and care about the characters. And the characters are all just unique on their own, and this is really, kind of the first of its kind for a game to really do that. Because, you had games like Mario and Legend of Zelda, and it's like, sure, those games had story, and they had, I guess you can say lore, especially the Legend of Zelda, but it was something that no one really paid attention towards. People just kind of scoffed at it and didn't really think too much about it. And then Final Fantasy VII comes around, and it has pre-rendered, backgrounds and really weird 3D models for the character sprites, in the overworld. But for some reason, it still had that charm to it, and you knew that, even then, like, even though it was pre-rendered backgrounds, you knew it was this revolutionary thing because it was on, the PSX, the PlayStation 1, and just the whole gameplay system with, the materia system and the way that that works. The only way that you're able to use magic is by having that specific materia. Like if you wanted haste, you would need, time materia. If you wanted to use fire, you would have to have a fire materia. And you can level that up progressively as you go through the game, and depending on how many enemies you kill. The limits were like a new thing that was in for a Final Fantasy VII game, or Final Fantasy VII game, a Final Fantasy game, and it allowed the players to be able to essentially do a desperation attack to do a massive amount of damage, and a lot of them had unique animations, for every single separate party member, and they all looked really cool, and you felt really powerful when you would use them. And just the story within it itself, with Cloud basically trying to find who he really is, because he has memories that don't really belong to him. Those aren't really his memories. He's not acting like how he's supposed to be. And there's this whole mystery as to who Cloud really is, whilst you're trying to stop the Shinra Corporation from sucking up all the Mako energy and essentially, killing the planet and destroying the planet, while Sephiroth is also trying to do the same thing by obtaining the black materia and summon Meteor to destroy the planet. And along the way, you meet these interesting different characters who are unique on their own. Some of them are funny, some of them are, these serious characters that you grow to appreciate for who they are. And there are a whole bunch of these side quests, like the Wu Tai like side mission where Yuffie steals your materia. That whole sequence of events is really funny because then you meet, Don Corneo again. He's still the exact same person as he was when you first met him for the first time back in Midgar, and there's just something special, and it's just about this game. Just I don't really know really what to say about it other than it was the first of its kind to really try to do something and it accomplished in a way that it intrigued people enough to be excited for whenever the eventual remake was announced. And I think the remake is so important to me and a lot of people because it's essentially what everyone always wanted to see, Final Fantasy VII and Midgar especially look like. It was what Midgar looked like in our eyes. It's what it always looked like. The reactor always looked like the way that it did. Speaking from perspective of the demo for myself personally, that's how it always looked like. Characters like Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, and Barret, and Cloud, and Tifa, and Aerith, and just all these characters. They have always looked like this. This is how we've always perceived them to look like. For 23 years now at this point. Final Fantasy VII has been around for 23 years, and people who played it back in the late 90s, and even people who got into it years later by finally playing the game for the first time. This is how the game was always supposed to look like in our eyes, but with the restrictions of the PSX, the PlayStation 1, there was only so much that they were able to do, and now they're finally able to do it with the current technology of the consoles that we have, and it's just something that is unbelievable. That is beyond something that people could have dreamed of. And some people don't really even want to believe that it even is real, that this game is actually coming out. People still don't really want to believe that it's actually happening, but it is. We're finally getting a game that is showing off the characters and the world and Midgar and all this in the way that we've always wanted to see it, the way that we always imagined that it would look like. And it's finally coming into fruition, and the gameplay is extremely fun to play. The characters are all the same as we always remember them as, and they're incredibly likable. They make jokes at each other, but they're still allies and they're still friends. And there's so many more reasons as to why this remake is so special to a lot of people, and it's special to me because I remember back when I was a little kid and I played Kingdom Hearts for the first time, and I saw Cloud, and I thought Cloud was super cool. And then I saw him in Kingdom Hearts 2, and I thought he was even cooler. And then he was announced for Smash Brothers, and I thought he was incredibly fun in Smash Brothers 4. And just eventually I ended up playing Final Fantasy VII, and I ended up having the proper experience that you're supposed to have with the game. And it was just something I was really happy and proud to experience at least once, to have the luxury and experience to be able to play through a game that, even though with its restrictions, the devs tried incredibly hard to make it something special and something unique for people to play. And now they're essentially trying to do the same exact thing with the remake, and I am completely ready to see what they're gonna have up their sleeves with what they're gonna be doing with this game. Just from the sound of things, from what other people have said in different videos, it seems like it's gonna be definitely very interesting. I don't know what the hell it is they're doing, but I hope it's good. I seriously hope it's good. I am there's no real doubt in my mind that it's not gonna be good. That it's gonna be bad. No, I don't have any doubt in my mind that it's gonna be anything less than an amazing experience. And playing through the game, playing through these games, these games that I really love and care about and have tons of passion into, they all remind me of when I was a kid and just how much I would just play these games just for fun. Just play these games because I thought they were cool and experience these characters just because I thought they were cool and because the gameplay was extremely fun. And now years later, as I'm turning into an adult, I'm turning 20 this year and tomorrow actually, because I'm recording this late at night or early in the morning on the 7th. I'm turning 20 years old. I'm becoming an adult, and playing these games all over again is reminding me of how much joy I had playing video games as I was as a child, and now I'm more intrigued with storytelling and narrative and character interactions as an adult. And the fact that we're getting these experiences with new and future games that are coming out on the PlayStation 4 and sooner or later into PlayStation 5. And I can't thank the generations and generations of past and future consoles and games for allowing me to have these experiences. And I can never be more proud of being a gamer, I guess you can call me, but being a person who plays video games and experience these stories, experience the hard work and dedication that people have put into their crafts, to put into something that they care about. I'm beyond proud to be able to experience these moments in my life, and there's nothing more that gives me the satisfaction than to play something that a group of people have put their hearts and their lives into. So without further ado, I guess they kind of leave off on a high note rather. Let's go ahead and wrap up the video. That's all I really have to say. I just wanted to have this little discussion about Final Fantasy VII and the remake that just has me so excited for when its inevitable release on April 12th, I believe, is coming out. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm actually very curious as to what people have to say about Final Fantasy VII, and especially the remake down below. Let me know what you're thinking about it. I'm very excited. I can't say it enough. I'm very, 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 very excited. And yeah, I guess I'll just leave it off here. Leave a like in the video if you didn't enjoy. Leave a dislike on the video if you didn't enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.